Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to read a different version of Cinderella, and this one is one of my favorites because this Cinderella, if you really look at the pictures throughout the story, you see that it takes place all over the world. You'll notice it in the pictures that you see, the clothing that the people wear, the characters wear in the story. So I want you to pay close attention, and if you look, and I'll show you one picture at the bottom of the page, it'll tell you where each part of the story takes place. Okay? So you'll see at the very bottom of the book where the story is taking place at that time. Okay? So I hope you really enjoy this. It's called The Glass Slipper Gold Sandal. Once upon a time there lived a wealthy merchant whose wife had died. They had one daughter, gentle-eyed and good-hearted. Down the road lived a widow with two daughters. The woman gave the girl treats when she passed, pan dulce to eat, sugar cane to chew. The girl knew that her father was lonely. You should marry the widow, she told him. She's nice to me. The father had his doubts, but the girl kept asking. And how long can a father say no to his daughter? And so he and the widow were married. Okay, right here at the bottom, Mexico. Notice the artwork all around the page and around their picture. But no sooner had the stepmother moved in than she began to order the girl about. All day long she set her weeding the rice fields and cooking and carrying. The woman gave the girl's room to her own lazy daughters. At night the girl had nowhere to sleep, so she curled up for warmth among the ashes on the hearth. This one is Korea, and there she is sleeping in the fire at the fireplace, trying to stay warm. Her stepmother allowed her only a few scraps of food. Her stomach howled. Then the girl recalled how she'd begged her father to marry. I picked up the scorpion with my own hand, she told herself. She vowed not to complain to her father and upset him. And now we're in Iraq. Moving to India. Look at the artwork. But when the girl was out tending the cattle, the beast heard her crying for hunger. Don't weep, said one of the cows, and the animal poured honey for her from its horn. So this one's Russia. And down here we have Iran. And a fairy gave her figs and apricots to India. And the godfather snake gave her rice. Moving to Ireland. Once she was eating well and proper, the girl bloomed into a right rare beauty. The stepmother couldn't fathom it. And meanwhile, her own sour-faced daughters would curdle the milk if they looked at it twice. Going all the way to Zimbabwe. One day it was announced far and wide that the great king was in search of a queen. All the unmarried women dressed in their finest robes and set off for the palace. Germany. To make sure the girl couldn't go, the stepmother threw an apron full of lentils into the ashes and ordered her to pick them all out. Appalachia. And scour all the kitchen pots too, she hollered. Germany. As soon as the stepmother left with her daughters, the girl burst into tears. Outside, the sparrows heard her. In flew and pecked the lentils from the ashes. Appalachia again. Then the witch woman came in and spoke a spell, and up jumped the pots and scoured themselves. Laos. The girl was free to go, but she had nothing to wear except rags. Then she looked in her mother's sewing basket. Russia. She reached into the hole in the birch tree. Indonesia. Then a crocodile swam up to the surface, and in its mouth was a sarong made of gold. China. A cloak sewn of kingfisher feathers. And Japan. And a kimono red as the sunset. France. And on the girl's feet appeared a pair of glass slippers. India, a diamond anklets. And Iraq, sandals of gold. West Indies. Walk to the ball, said the girl's auntie. Never. She picked a big round breadfruit from a tree and tapped it 3 times with her wand. Quick as the blink of a firefly, the breadfruit changed itself into a coach. Poland. Oh, look at those bright colors on those outfits. When she made her entrance, so great was her beauty that the musicians stopped playing. Not one, not even her stepmother, knew who the beautiful stranger was. Take a good look at their clothes that they wear in Poland. Very different from ours. Indonesia. You see there they're dancing. Beautiful clothes. All night the girl danced with the headman's son until the first rooster crowed, and then she remembered she had to leave at once. Ireland. She leaped onto her mare's golden saddle. "Who are you?" called the prince. The girl had no time for words and charged down the lane. The prince sprinted beside her, got a hand on her shoe, and the dainty thing pulled off in his fingers as she galloped away. The king declared he would marry the golden shoe's owner. This is China. He ordered the women of the court to try it on, but none could squeeze inside it. And so he went searching for its owner up and down the mountains, Iran, and across the deserts, and Laos, until he came to the stepmother's house. When she saw him approach, she grabbed her stepdaughter and wrapped her in a mat and hid her. France. "I'm certain the shoe will fit one of my fine favored daughters," and said the woman, grunting and sweating. Her older daughter tried to wrestle the shoe on, but couldn't. Neither could the younger. You see them trying to get the shoe on? I love the colors in these pictures. Iraq. Just then, a rooster began to crow. They put the ugly one on show and hid the beauty down below. Korea. The girl was brought forward. "Don't waste your time with that one," said the stepmother. But the magistrate looked into the girl's eyes, took the straw sandal in his hand, and slipped it onto her foot with ease. Zimbabwe. She and the great king were married at the palace, where the guests feasted on mangoes and melons. India. Rice seasoned with almonds. In Ireland, beef stew and lamb stew. In Mexico, anise, cookies, and custards. Iraq. Such a wedding it was, and such an adoring couple. In Korea, and such a wondrous turn of events. Notice all the colors and the different artwork. All the different countries. All in one picture. The people today are still telling the story. So this is why this is one of my favorites, because you get artwork from all around the world. You get to see the differences in clothing, the differences in culture, the things that, are traditional in our country, in the United States, are very different in other parts of the world. That's why I like this story, because it just tells you so much more than the story. It gives you a little bit of an eye into different cultures. I hope you enjoyed this story. It's called Glass Slipper, Gold Sandal by Paul Fleischman and Julie Paskas. I hope I pronounced that right. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the story. Have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.